of us at Lamar, and we're not really touching any of that money right now. But other than that, we made $299,000 on interest in September. So, and then page 6 is just kind of a view of comparing it to previous month to this month and kind of where the interest rates are. And most of them, Techstar went up from 5.3 to 5.31. But other than that, they kind of pretty much stayed the same at Lamar, except for they did that one account. So it went from the 4.84 to 4.91 cumulative between those accounts. Page 7 is the board report for September. Obviously, this is our first month, so we had 1.438 that came in. We get our first really large chunk of money from the state in September. And then we have that little bit of property tax we received. And then our expenses. At the bottom, that budgeted total fund balance, that's still last year's. And that'll change once we get the audit back. I'll update that information. And then debt service. Has on there, and that also has the old fund balance. And then the 240 account on hers, the August and September, we haven't received the funds. I guess USDA is short employees, and so no Texas schools have received their funds for August or September's reimbursements. So they're working on that, apparently. I'm hoping there's not anybody that's trying to survive without it. And that is all I have this month.
Thank you, Ms. Floyd. Also have construction update.
Joe Vetters with Gallagher Construction. Start with the elementary school. We've completed our pads. We've had them certified. We actually closed them out with the city. We have a meeting with the city and Mustang this Wednesday to release our permits, pre-construction, so we'll have everybody on board up there. Right now we have been released to mobilize materials, so we do have foundation steel that's been delivered. We're going to start rolling some cages, and we should start rolling some of the RCP site utilities that we get out there. So you'll start to see more mobilization coming through within the next few weeks from them. The high school, middle school, I'll begin with the high school. We did complete our underground, the RCP. We have 2 boxes that are currently being constructed. We have a 10 by 10 and an 8 by 8. We did get clarification on some routing with some of the storm sewer. So those are in place. So those 2 big holes that you see out there on that site, they'll start to be closed up. We'll put the caps on those, get those finalized, and then we'll start working on the parking lot area. Building A, which is the classroom extension, we've completed all the water chemical injection in that. We've got the site prepped, and we should have structural steel being delivered and released, as well as foundation steel. So they'll start getting those cages built, and then the pier rig will come over there too, and we'll start drilling those piers. B and C, part of that coordination was getting the routing of the sewer. We have those corrected. The water line is now being routed around B, which is the locker room. So that should be wrapped up, and then we'll start on those foundations. And then C, we had a coordination with some fiber that we had to reroute. So we've got all clearance on that. We're going to get the fiber rerouted, and then once we get that moved out of C, then we'll start those foundations. As moving over to the middle school, if you look over that side or if you drive by, you'll see that we've cleared all that out. We've got everything graded. They're actually doing the chemical injection starting in the morning. So that's that rig that looks with all those pins in it over there. So they'll be injecting quite a bit of water over there and chemicals in there to get that prepped up. We did get everything underground for Encore. So we have all of their services that are in there, or I should say their conduit in there. We do have the new poles that have been set. So those transformers should be being released. We'll coordinate with those. But all the storm and the RCP, which is your sewer, are all in place now. We have that around the gymnasium building. And then we just wrapped up the head wall over there underneath the scoreboard. So we'll start getting that rip-wrap and everything over that way. So if we do encounter some more water, we will be able to take it on and get it out directly. So with that, if you have any questions? Nothing?
No, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Next item under communications, principals reports. I don't know if you guys rock, paper, scissors, or.
You didn't want to go last.
That's correct. Cowboys are playing. Attendance rate, I know last time we spoke and gave a report, it wasn't quite where we wanted it to be because we got hit pretty hard with illness and some other things at the beginning of the year, but we are in our second attendance cycle and it does look better at this point. Our freshmen are coming in at 98.5%, 10th grade is 97.7%, 11th is 98.1%, and our 12th is 97.8%, which is for a total of 98%, which is 2% higher than it was the first cycle. I think some of that may have to do with, I knew one of our things that we were going to focus on this year was getting makeup hours completed earlier. We're serving those kids having to come in. If they were over 7 absences early in the year, we weren't going to wait until Christmas, because puts us in a bind. But now that they're CNA, they're making us come in early. They don't want to miss as much, and so I think that's helped our attendance so far. Another one thing that we've got going on right now for our emotional and social wellness piece is what we call YAM, which is the Youth Aware Mental Health. It's administered through University of Southwest Medical Center. It's completely free of charge to school districts. The purpose of this program is to destigmatize mental health issues along with suicide prevention training. Students learn how to self-advocate when dealing with mental health crisis and how to advocate for their friends if they're going through the same crisis. We conduct this program annually for our 9th grade students, and it runs for 5 days. It's a 45 minutes per day, but we do it 5 days for 5 weeks consecutive, 1 day of the week, and for 45 minutes. So that's gone well. We do give parents the option to opt out of that if they want. We only had one in that freshman class, so they're getting it. Some classroom news. We had Ms. Harlan's class, our pre-cal class, has been working with sine waves and how they have multiple applications in the real life. Students created sine wave graphs made out of gummy bears and gummy worms, so that was an interesting little project that they did. Also, Mr. Eaton's calculus students did a gallery walk, and they were looking at mathematical patterns. They were able to showcase their knowledge and their skills to their classmates, so they got to. I think any time with your peers and you want to step your game up a little bit when they're coming around to look at your stuff. So that kind of elevated their drive for that project. Coach Applewhite also brought in our local game warden first part of last week, I believe. And he came in and spoke with our outdoor education classes about the laws, the regulations, and then how to become a game warden. So that was an interesting piece, getting this, hear from local law enforcement agency. That's a little bit different than your sheriff's departments and police departments. So a lot of kids were very interested in that. And number 4, our happenings that we have and some of our victories that we've had, which, I could go on and on. I'm supposed to only be up here for 3 or 4 minutes. I'm in a hurry. But our football team remains undefeated at 7-0. They're 2-0 in district play, so they are playing very well. Coach Lozelle, in that time frame since we met last, has won his 200th game as a Gunter Tiger, which is as young as he is. That's an incredible feat. He does a great job, and it's incredible what they do with that program. And I'll tell you, it just helps us out tremendously in the hallways and everything else. With that structure and what he does for our program. Volleyball is also currently they're 26-10 with a perfect 9-0 district record. So we're looking at another district championship right there. We finish out. We have senior night coming up next Friday. And then we'll be rolling into the playoffs, and hopefully we'll make a deep run back at that state championship again. Our varsity cross country had the district meet last week. They had 2 boys and 3 girls competing that will be advancing to the regional meet. That's on Monday, October 23rd. So we had 5 kids get out cross country. Our Gunter band has performed very well at all 3 competitions they've been in. most importantly, they received straight ones at the Regional 25 UL Marching Contest, which now they get to go perform in Denton on October 28th in the area marching contest. And I think they have a legitimate shot to get out and go compete for state and the marching contest. So I've got some connections in the band world that have actually seen us march and have seen one of them's a judge actually has seen them, and he was very impressed. He said, the numbers right now, like I said last time, aren't exactly where we want to be, but they're going to grow. But the sound and the performance that they're putting out, it's fun to watch. If you hadn't got to watch them, go on October 28th and go watch them. We also had a tractor tick team that traveled to Winnie, and they placed third in the Texas Rice Festival competition. So I know that's we've had some more victories in different areas. Miss Neely does a great job with our high school page as we get information, as we push it out. So I encourage you to go look at that and keep up with them, because I'm telling you, I have the best job in the world. I'm telling you, because the kids are great. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Okay, so it's too very, very close to the camera. Okay, so starting with attendance, we're kind of opposite of the high school this time. So we kind of did better the first go round. We're kind of dropping this go round. Again, we've had a lot of sickness, but our 5th grade is at 97%. Our 6th grade is at about 97.3. 7th grade's at about 95.7, and 8th grade's at 96.5. So we're trying to get those numbers a little bit up. We've had several kids in the hospital, so they're fine, but like just big time illnesses. So just trying to get them all caught up. We are starting prime time, so we're going to start that soon with makeup hours. We have a couple kids that need to start doing that, so we're starting that. We're also starting trying to compete with elementary over here with the water guns. So we're going to do a 9-week drawing every 9 weeks for the kids. So we're going to do fun coupons and then do a big drawing at the end of the year for perfect attendance. So just something fun for them to look forward to with attendance. We're starting our positive behavior support kickoff. We're going to do all of Gunter Middle School is going to participate in a PBIS structure for the common areas on the campus. So we're doing a big kickoff November 1st. So that's going to happen in conjunction with our first ever middle school, not first ever, but our only middle school pep rally. So we're going to host our own pep rally. We're really excited about that. The kids are excited. So we're going to dive into those PBIS supports at our staff development day on the 28th. And then our innovative learning goal, our teen leadership class began research. Those are our 7th graders on project-based learning projects that they're working on. Miss Bartlett's class at the high school is learning some job interview skills. So she's been introducing them to just a variety of jobs that they can go into, and how do you interview for a job and what type of questions do people ask. And then Miss Schroeder's class is looking at a service project for the holidays. So we're trying to get kind of everyone on the same page. We have books and workbooks that they're working through. And so we're going to kind of just align everything that we're doing, but the teachers have just kind of taken it and run with it and done a great job with it. In our classrooms, everyone's doing amazing. Coach Mack is doing a science project right now where the kiddos are bringing in baked goods to mimic cell structures. So we had like cakes with all these cell structures on it. It was amazing. It was great. And then Miss Jordan and Miss Holsey. Miss Jordan is our cheer coach, and Miss Holsey is our student council person, and they're going to team up and do a food drive for Love Packs. So we're lucky to have Miss Colvin on our campus that also is our kind of family community person. So they're teaming up with Love Packs to get all that going for the holidays. Our band is going to host a virtual concert. It was difficult to find a date, so Mr. Wynn was very creative and is going to host a virtual concert for the parents. And then over the Christmas holidays, they're going to do caroling. So hopefully at the elementary and then also around the middle school. Our 5th graders are also performing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They're really excited about it, and they're in the middle of our UIL production for the Yellow Boat. Our volleyball and football teams have done amazing. Volleyball is headed to district, I think, this weekend. So just great things moving forward. We'll wrap up those seasons, and all the kids are a lot of chatter about basketball. So very excited about basketball starting soon. So I think that's all we have. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Good evening, board. How are y'all? Yeah, not too close. We can get that. So, I'm excited to be here and share our report with you. As they have mentioned, and especially Sarah, our attendance rate, campus attendance rate is 97%, which we're very proud of because a couple of our grade levels have suffered illnesses as well. It's hitting us pretty hard as well. We're saying wash those hands. So we continue to have our Attendance Matters surprise days, which we did get water shot at and poured on and all the goodness, but it was well worth it. And the kids had a blast. In fact, several of them said it was the best day ever. And I'm like, well, that's what the best day ever is. Then bring the water on. So we're going to do additional incentives, especially since we are wrapping up our 9 weeks, to our students who have perfect attendance. They're going to get to slime the principals for everyone who has had perfect attendance. Our revisit about our social emotional wellness goal, which was our Tigers Helping Tigers. Our 4th grade is leading out with our October project, which is to support the Sherman Animal Shelter. And so I guess it was 2 weeks ago, they presented at our Good Morning Tigers. They brought their own slide presentation, and we had 3 members of the 4th grade represent their grade level and presented, and they are collecting dog bowls and toys and dog food and all kinds of things and doing a great job with that. And we're really excited. We're going to invite the animal shelter at the end of the month to come and receive that. So our innovative learning goal is for our students to do, every student in our building to do a research project of some type or fashion. And it's not due until May. But Miss Locke, our 4th grade teacher, has already led out with that. And they are doing a collaborative group project over the regions of Texas. And so each group has to create an artifact, and then they're assigned a certain region that they will present to their class. And the students are each assigned a role that they play in that collaborative group. Like somebody is the illustrator and somebody is the recorder, and you guys understand that. Everybody has a role. So we're really excited about that, and we're anxious to hear their presentations. So instruction, how I love to brag about my teachers and the great things that are happening. The brag that I have this month is about Miss Pelzel and Miss Harper. Miss Harper went last spring to a workshop session at Region 10 called Building Thinking Classrooms. And in the middle of the session, she's texting me going, oh my gosh, this is the best training I've ever had. And so she came back, and this year she took her partner with her, Miss Pelzel, and they went. And they came back and they've taught our kids, and they've been doing, so basically it's on the basis of teaching kids to think outside, to be collaborative, to work together, and to ask questions. The teachers ask questions. They get the kids up out of their seats and start brainstorming and working through math problems. And it's been really exciting to see that in our school, and they're trying to share that with our other teachers as well. The other thing I'll share is our kindergarten and pre-K. They enrich their students by they're studying community helpers, which is their social studies TEAC, and they invited Mr. Ulch in to come in as a firefighter, which was so awesome. The kids were, anytime kindergartners and pre-Kers get to see a firefighter, they just think it's the best thing. So he came in and talked about his equipment with them this past week, and it was a great learning experience. And then I want to shout out to our amazing SPED team. Oh, they're amazing. Our SPED department, Miss Julie Dorsey, Devery Lusk, and Maddie Gann, they have been phenomenal. We have had teachers who have needs for resources, and they jumped in and said, I'll make it for you. I'll help you do it. I'll come into your room and model for you. And that's what we're about at GES. We're a team, we're a family, and we all work together. So I want to shout out to them because they are amazing. And then lastly, I'll talk about our programs. We don't have sports, but what we are doing is we're laying the foundation of reading, which will lead to all these sports. They have to learn and grow and be ready to join the many different activities in middle school and high school. And so this year, this month, I wanted to talk about our GES book fair. We had it the week of September 25th through the 29th. It was extremely successful. In fact, it was the highest grossing book fair that GES has had in 8 years, with over $13,000. Phenomenal. And that's a thank you to our community who came out, maybe some grandmas who came into town and might have done some shopping on our late night. But the PTO board, when we met, they asked what we needed, and the teachers have been asking for they've asked for to build up and enrich our reading resource library. And what that is individual books that teachers can go and check out and teach children how to read, guided reading, decodable books, and that's something the teachers have been asking for. So the PTO donated the $3,221 to go back to our campus to enrich our library. So we're super excited about that. And the final thing I'll share is our Watchdog program. DAD program got kicked off 2 weeks ago. It has been such a huge success, and we've enjoyed having our dads on campus. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Mr. Barton, I understand. Y'all have a good evening. Thank y'all. You're good. You're good.
Thank you for coming. Yes.
Thank y'all.
Love the updates.
Yes. This is gonna pass you.
All right, board members, next under the communication is an update, this third legislative session, special session. The only thing that I have seen come across the wire is Senate has passed Senate Bill 1 and Senate Bill 2 and sent it to the House. Senate Bill 1 is, they're choosing to call it Education Savings Account, or you might even hear it called school choice. And if you're talking to your community members, there's no school choice about this. I don't want to say too much, but that's what Senate Bill 1 is. It sets aside, I believe it was $8,000, and it explains who's eligible. Essentially, people that are eligible are people that are in private schools. So take that with a grain of salt. Senate Bill 2 is the one that's planning on sending us a little more money. It's talked about an increase in the basic allotment of $75. We'll take what we can get. It's better than nothing. It's also talked about a one-time teacher stipend, which was $10,000 per classroom teacher in districts with 5,000 or fewer students, and $3,000 per teacher in districts with more than 5,000 students. That comes from the difference in salaries right now. A bigger district, that those teachers are making more money. Notice that's a one-time stipend. I think I read something that said that would take effect in the 24-25 school year. But also pay attention to the fact that it says teachers. We'll have more than teachers working for us. So we would have to put our thinking caps on how to address that. And then our legislators are going to say they doubled what they're sending us for school safety. But if you look at the numbers, they've increased it from $10 to $20 per ADA. And they increased it campus-based allotment from $15,000 to $30,000. None of that covers the officers that they require us to have now, so I'll call that another funded mandate. But we're blessed, we have it, our kids are safe. Safety does come first, but let's not be fooled when they say that they've doubled the amount of money they're sending us.
Technically,
It's correct.
It's still not enough.
Yeah, still not enough. So this is what I have, and I kept my own on the computer all day long to see if something came from the House, because I think they started meeting today, and there was nothing. So that's where we're at with SB1 and SB2. Small place here. Okay. Upcoming meetings and events. Just notice on page 1 of your binder, our upcoming board meetings. I want to make sure everyone sees that November 16th is when we will meet at the high school. That is our recognition meeting, and that is a Thursday meeting. So, and then the rest are there for you guys. We've made it through the year far enough that you can already see the rest of the board meetings through July. Milestone. I don't have anything here. So, we have under board member report set a team of 8 training. I guess maybe the most I could take right now from that is there a certain night of the week that will work best for everyone? Because hence the title team of 8. I need to make sure everybody's there. Otherwise we don't get credit. Monday nights, Tuesday night, Wednesday nights. Pretty sure Friday nights are off the table.
Okay.
I like it working.
Yeah. Wednesday is okay with you guys?
Yep.
Okay, I'll get us a team of 8 training scheduled for a Wednesday. Nothing, just to consent.
So our consent agenda consists of September 18th, 2023 meeting minutes, GISD and GCSEC September bills, and the district and campus improvement plans for 2023 and 2024. Does anyone wish to pull any items from the consent agenda for discussion? Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to regular business, I believe the first one is page, well, you can turn to page 257. So what this update is, DEC local, we had 2 bills passed, House Bill 1486, which requires that full-time telecommunicators who are licensed by TCOL be provided mental health leave like police officers. And then we also have House Bill 471, which requires a district to provide paid leave to police officers and EMS personnel who experience an illness or injury related to their line of duty. Following the required leave of absence or full pay for a period commensurate with the nature of the illness or injury. So we had those 2 bills passed. TASB reviewed our DEC local, and you can see the red strike and the blue additions brings our DEC local up to date and meet the requirements of HB 1486 and HB 471 in short.
So it's we're compliant.
Yes, sir, we are in compliance.
Is there a motion to approve the revisions to local policy DEC?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Item B, okay, follow me here. So, I guess go back about 2 years ago, we attempted to use excess bond money, 2016 bond money, to purchase a 14-passenger activity bus. And you guys were amazing, you approved that. The only problem is manufacturers never released a chassis. So a while back we changed our plan and we were going to purchase 2 Suburbans, about the same amount. And then what has happened, because you guys voted on that, the manufacturer, the dealer called and said, they've released a chassis. We looked at our records and your order was never officially canceled. Would you like this? So we're like, yes, we would like that. And so I'm coming to you. We approved the purchase of 14-passenger bus that comes from 2016 bond money that we had talked about putting on a bus. Changed from the bus to the 2 Suburbans. Now we're back on the bus, which means we would cancel the Suburbans. And I believe this saves us around $35,000. Around $35,000 cheaper, the one activity bus is, than the 2 Suburbans, which have kind of skyrocketed on us. And we can't get the Suburbans. Wow. So I'm asking that you approve us purchasing the 14-passenger activity bus, and we will not be purchasing 2 Suburbans.
I motion to approve.
Yes. Any discussion?
Yeah. Good. So we finally got
You
this.
scared me.
this
Yeah.
At one time we talked about car or smaller SUV instead of taking big SUVs or even a 14-passenger bus. And I get the need for the 14-passenger bus for smaller team events and stuff. Could we possibly look at the savings? I don't know if that's enough or whatever. Is that still in our plan to look at a different part of the fleet being smaller, more cost-effective.
Yes, sir. I think so. I think that's been part of our conversation. What we've been trying to zero in on is when we spend after we've spent what you guys have approved, what is our exact figure? And now that we have, no activity bus, Suburbans, no Suburbans activity bus, we're still trying to get to that bottom line. But I think that's what we would look at doing is getting a smaller SUV or four-door vehicle so that employees can use it. The main thing would be one or two people traveling to the service center instead of taking a Suburban, taking a more economical vehicle. So, yes, sir. We're still looking at that, trying to get to the bottom line of what's actually left over.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Better bus.
Item C, I'm going to read here. I've never experienced this, but what we received from the appraisal district or Grayson Central Appraisal District, it states that Texas Property Tax Code requires each taxing unit to vote by resolution on the approval of the proposal within 30. So what they're talking about is, and the work was in there. I don't want to misquote the work. I think they were renovating and expanding their current location, and then they worked with an adjacent property owner to expand parking lot to accommodate all their needs and their customers. And this was more cost efficient than buying land and building a completely new facility. What they're asking for approval of it, I think, is in the ballpark of $700,000. What they projected new land, completely new facility to be was $12 million. So it sounds like they did their homework. I've never had this type of resolution, but they've got to have the approval of all their taxing units in order to move forward. I bet Mr. Johnson might know a little bit about it. Okay, so I hope that makes sense.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you. It was different. The next one was Grayson County Hazard Mitigation Plan. And you can see on page 271, who all has to approve this. We could have made your packets thicker, but we decided to save several hundred pages with that one as well. It'd be my recommendation we approve their hazard mitigation plan.
Is there a motion to approve the hazard mitigation plan for Grayson County?
I'll make a motion to approve the hazard mitigation plan for Grayson County.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Item E is something we've been talking about for a while now. It begins on page 274. Mr. Bell, you feel free to. It's my understanding there's been very minor change to this whatsoever after going back and reviewing it. The items that are up for question would actually boil down to the fee.
That's correct. So I met with DYA. They wanted to keep their fee structure in place. I went back through the classifications 0, 1, and 2 for our renters, and I made a tweak to 0 classification. So if you were going to give time, energy, money to the district, then to benefit the district, you will be classified as a 0. So the example we had were scouts. Anytime we do anything formal, they post colors for us. They can use our facilities as a class 0 renter. Ladies of Tomorrow, any organization that's going to give scholarship money or benefit our students in some direct way will be able to be not charged to use our facility as long as there's going to be a benefit to our school or our students. And then I dropped the local GYA team rate or local team rate to 20 for the auxiliary gym and 15 for the elementary gym. The only nuance to that is until I can get the key cards established, if you have to have somebody open, then I have to charge you an hourly rate to do that. But that's a very small minority of folks who don't have somebody on the organization that's going to be doing that. So that's more than a 60% cut from 50 to 20 for the auxiliary gym. Long-term leases are still going to be negotiable depending on the team. Those rate structures are in place. Not a lot beyond that has changed. I bet it's in the language. I bet it's in the facility. Section of the facilities off. The old gym, I took the kitchens off. Lauren Rogers does not want folks in her kitchens. We just don't want to deal with the repercussions of that. So it's almost identical to what we had. So if you have any questions, I can try to answer them.
So how does it work with a team that doesn't want to be a part of GYA but still wants to participate with the field house?
So they'll GYA right now is finishing their booking online. Any available time slot for this will get logged in, reserve a time slot. It'll be $20, and I asked Facilitron if we could waive the custodial fee and any of the additional stuff. And so what that may end up meaning is it may end up actually being a lower rate. It may end up being $16.26 an hour, so that it's a $20 flat rate for our local teams, all Gunter kiddos. And again, that's an arbitrary number. We could do 15 and 10. I mean, that's if you guys want to do a 15 and 10, we could do a 15 and 10. I mean, we could do. It doesn't matter, right? There's some charge. Some reservation fee, especially once I get key cards, then it's moved because I can issue a temporary one and turn it off. I can unlock the gym at between 7 and 9. So really, the fee structure is the only thing that's. If y'all wanted to talk about that and direct that, we can tweak that based on what y'all decide tonight.
I like it. I appreciate that you took into account all of the student organizations and all of the things.
There will probably be an exception at some point down the road, and I'll address it, and we'll come back for a tweak.
So if there is an exception, is it the language written so that you can make a decision, or does it have to go to Scott, or how's that?
I tried to make it less explicit in the group. So if you look at the groups up there, I try not to name specific types of groups. Okay. So, it's really going to be kind of my judgment. Are you benefiting the school? Well, we're going to donate this and this in the school. Okay. Thanks.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So.
Good job.
Yeah.
Mr. Bell.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the revisions to the GISD facility use handbook?
I'll approve the revision to the GISD facility use handbook. I'll move that.
Thank you.
I'll approve it. Sounds like, thank you.
Yes.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Bell.
And last item tonight for your consideration, item F, retention stipend. And I believe Ms. Floyd and I were talking.
Enough for $1,000 per employee.
And so
That's what we have budgeted.
And so the way we do it is $1,000 for full-time employees and $500 for part-time employees. And I think we figured out we have 2 part-time employees. And I think that's what we've done the last 2 years, is that correct?
That amount?
Yes, sir.
So that's what we budgeted,
And that's what we've given.
and that is consistent with what we've done in prior periods.
Is there a motion to approve getting a retention stipend of $1,000 for full-time employees and $500 for part-time employees?
Motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And with that, if there are no further business and no objections, we stand adjourned at 8:42. Thank you.